Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Whitney, and today we are back at it again with another Moving Up Monday. So this Moving Up Monday, we're going to be talking about something a little bit interesting, okay people? We're going to be talking about how to be cool with an ex. If you guys are interested in what I got to talk about today, turn on your post notifications, like, subscribe, so you never miss when I post a new video, and let's get right on into it. So the best way to be cool with an ex, I want to say don't. Okay, there's so many things that falls into this different aspect of being cool with an ex, and I just wanted to jump into this topic because we have this thing here where we have this argument where like half of the people say to get over it, it's cool to be cool with an ex, and another round of people say don't ever do that, right? And so I just want to bring it here, give it to you guys, maybe give you guys a different perspective on how some people just might not be cool with an ex in the picture, or how some people are cool with another person in the picture, right? And so the first thing that I want to talk about here is this number one rule: check your comfortability. Okay, so we kind of like jumping into this different thing where you have a partner, right? And also we're having, a past kind of rear its way back into your life. Are you comfortable with that? Are you comfortable with being friends with this person over here and trying to build a new future with somebody else? Where is your attention? Is your attention being diverted, or, what's going on? Because I'm trying to think of it from this part of like this aspect, basically, where you're trying to build a friendship with someone who you were once romantically involved with, when you're trying to build a romantic relationship with someone who you are currently romantically involved with, right? So here you have these two different things that you're juggling, and you're like, okay, how do I build this friendship and how do I give him attention? Really and truly, it's not necessary, okay? You can just literally cut off the ties right there and just put all your attention into your future, right? I'm just saying here, like, there's different things that, come into this sort of environment. And if you can do it, then I say by all means. But me personally, I'm like, I've had this bad experience where I thought I could juggle it. Turns out it wasn't me at all. Turns out it was the person who was like ruining everything. And I was like, okay, gotta cut the ties. And I focus all my attention on my future relationship, right? So jumping into rule number 2, now you have to check your partner's comfortability, right? Is your partner comfortable with a previous being in the picture? So let me give you an example here. In the beginning of, let me first make it clear, like, let me first ask, right? Because I don't want to put my business out there, because it's not just my business. It definitely involves my boyfriend. I'm sure he'll be cool about it, but let's just see, right?
Hey, you cool with me talking about the beginning of our relationship?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, just wondering, because last time, remember when I did my presentation, you were like, that's putting too much of our business in there, so I just wanted to make sure.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're filming.
But okay, Funky.
Alright, so in the beginning of my relationship, right, I was trying to keep an ex as a friend, not like keep an ex to just in case my relationship didn't work. And this is one thing that you have to really take into consideration here, is your partner, your person that you're talking to, trying to build a future relationship with. You have to take their comfortability into consideration, because really and truly at this point, especially when you're already involved, it's not just about you, okay? And you have to be honest. So the way that I feel like this kind of works, like being comfortable with an ex, right? It's like if you're friends with them before you get into a relationship, right? Then that's kind of like where you have to focus on yourself, and you're like, hey, you walked into this relationship and we were friends, like this is where you either have to like either decide to continue with me or just leave, figure out what you can handle with. But in a situation where, you were already dating and then your ex comes out of the woodwork trying to be friends, that's when you have to say, okay, pause. I'm cool with it, but I don't know if he will be. So you have to have that conversation, okay? You have to have that conversation. And I had that conversation multiple times. And the thing is that I was doing is that I was trying to make my boyfriend see that there is nothing there. Like, there's nothing here. This is just our dynamic. you know, this is just how it flows, right? And if you're uncomfortable with certain things, I won't do it until you get comfortable, right? Like, his whole thing was just like, I don't like perception. Like, I don't like how, like, if you go out to dinner and then people will see you and then they think you're on a date. And I agreed with that, because that was kind of my thing when I was in the relationship with the person, right? I was like, you got to keep me updated so I don't look stupid. And so I was like, okay, you know, without a doubt, I got you. That's how we're going to roll. That's how we're going to continue forward. But it wasn't even like this particular certain situation was like, we weren't even like, me and my boyfriend weren't even acting out of character. Weren't acting out like, we weren't wrong. Like, it would take like a couple months where he could have been comfortable, my boyfriend. So all it was time. But, you know, my ex was just acting ridiculous. So that just didn't work at all. And so that's why I'm here trying to tell you guys, you really, really, truly have to, let's talk about number 3. Rule number 3, we're jumping right on into it. You really and truly have to gauge yourself, okay? Because this is not a maturity level, okay? This is like, you can't sit here and talk to people and be like, oh, you're not mature if you can't have a relationship and have your ex in the picture. It's not a maturity thing, guys. It's a comfortability thing, okay? Just because you're not comfortable with something doesn't make you immature. And that's one thing that I really and truly want to put out there, because we have this whole stigma around people being friends with their ex. And the immediate response when someone says, no, I'm not comfortable, they're like, oh, you got to be mature about it. No, I'm very mature. I'm not comfortable with it. Especially when you date someone for years on end. Like, for example, my example was, I was dating this person for years. Like, it was 2 years. Roughly 2 years, right? And I was involved with them for 4 years. So my boyfriend was like, I ain't comfortable with this. And I was like, okay, let me make you comfortable. And he was like, all right, fine. But, you know, like, these situations, it brought a lot of unnecessary arguments. Like, we were arguing, I don't want to say a lot, but we were arguing. I don't even want to call it arguing. We just had a difference of opinion. And the thing about it is like, he was telling me how he's feeling about it. And I'm like, listen, let's just give it time, because this is really and truly, like, it's not what you think it is. And, you know, he has his own experiences and stuff like that. And he's just like, you know what, fine, I'll do this for you. And so the thing that made it hard was the ex, who was immature. So really and truly, you have to sit here and say, okay, I know that I'm comfortable with it. If I was put in this situation, I would probably be comfortable with it. So let's try to look at this from the other person's perspective. Boyfriend, how are you thinking? And then you could probably sit there and just say, okay, it doesn't even have to do with insecurities at all. They're just really like, I'm not comfortable with having somebody who did you wrong in the picture. I'm not comfortable with having somebody who you were once sexually active with in the picture. I'm not comfortable with someone being in the picture who you were once in love with. Like, I'm not trying to spark up anything new. And I don't know, to me that doesn't sound like anything about maturity. That sounds like something that somebody is just uncomfortable with, something that somebody doesn't want to deal with, and they don't have to deal with it. Rule number 4, do you really truly want to bring your past into the future? This is very important to me, because for me, myself, and I hate it when people bring up something that I've done in the past, because I am not that person anymore. I am not that same person that I was a month ago, a week ago, yesterday. Every single day, I'm learning something new. Every single day, if you have that constant reminder of your past with you, are you even moving? Are you going forward? Like, what's going on here, right? And so having your past kind of come along with you in the future is detrimental. And I believe it's detrimental because if you're constantly viewing yourself as the past, if you're constantly looking behind you, how are you moving forward? How are you walking forward when you're constantly looking behind you? What are you walking backwards? Like, that doesn't make sense, right? And so I want to kind of gauge it and bring you guys into that sort of perspective that, one, is not you being immature, it's you taking your past and doing something that doesn't need to continue forward. But really and truly, why do you need to keep that past with you? Why do you need that keepsake? And that's where you really need to ask yourself, why do I need this keepsake? Why am I holding on to this person so tight? And this can even go for your friends, right? Like when you bring friends when their chapter should have closed a long time ago and you bring them into the future with you, you start wondering, like, why am I holding on so tight to this person when they're not benefiting anything that's in my life, that's in my future, and they're more of a detriment to me, they're more of a burden to me than actually being somebody of value. That sounds so harsh, but you really, that sounds, wow, I didn't realize until after I said that was harsh. But you got to be honest with yourself. Having that person around, is it going to make you feel like you can be as successful as you want to be? This is deep, people. Like, you really and truly got to gauge who you keep in your circle. And I don't think keeping an ex that you had a falling out with as friends is a cool idea. But also and truly, that's not to say that people can't do it. Again, it's all about comfortability. Rule number 5, and our last rule of this beautiful Moving Up Monday. Don't be naive. Be honest with yourself, okay? What's the reason that you want to keep this person in your life? Is it because you truly want to build a friendship with them? Or is it because, you want to keep them around just in case things don't work with this other guy? Or do you still have feelings for them and you just don't want to let go? One thing that I personally experienced was that I have this tendency not to know when to quit, not to know when to let somebody go. I am like incredibly loyal to the point to where it's literally toxic, because I keep people who are not supposed to be with me. I keep people because I've known them for a long time, even though they are like so conservative and they literally believe in values that consistently put my people and people of color down. Does that make sense? Like, I have friends who fall into that category and I keep them all because I don't like losing people. I have attachment issues, basically, is what I'm saying. And so the reason why I say you got to be honest with yourself here is because why do you need these people? Why don't you feel the need to kind of let somebody go, especially when it's going to do you, I was about to say do you a solid, but literally and truly make it more positive for you. Really and truly make your life a hell of a lot more easier. And oftentimes you could be blocking your own blessings. That's exactly what I was doing. When you keep people around who are not supposed to be for you, who are not for you and not supposed to be in your future at all, you end up blocking your own blessings. And I'm gonna leave it at that note. I want you guys to think. I'm gonna leave it up in the cards below. Give you guys a poll. What do you think? Do you think it is necessary to keep an ex around? What do you think about this whole thing? Do you think we should keep an ex around? Yes, no, maybe, it depends. Tell me your story down in the comments below. Thank you guys for joining me today. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on your post notifications so you never miss when I post a new video. Also, I do have this segment on my channel called A Writer Scope, where you send to my email whatever advice you need, whatever advice you're going through. I will give you a third perspective, and the whole point is to kind of gauge your situation from somebody who's not involved and help you guys out. Again, my word is not the law. I just want to help you guys in any way that I can, even if it is just one person. So thank you guys for joining me today, and I'll see you next time.